Hi, this is How to Practice Lake Care from Home, a partnership between VLAMO, the Vadnais Lake Area Water Management Organization, and the City of Gem Lake. Why should any business or park or virtually any property be concerned about the connections downstream? There's actually several answers, and even if you're a little skeptical, that's okay. I'll just invite you to follow along and see what you think at the end. I could nerd out about water all day, but I realize that's not everybody's main focus, so that's okay. The quickest reason why that I can share is that Gem Lake is one of thousands of lakes in Minnesota. Over half of the water bodies in Minnesota are listed as impaired by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. And there's a lot of red, there's a lot of colors, and a lot going on this map. It's a puzzle for all of us because every lake is its own community, has its own story, yet the water in Minnesota is all connected and we're all benefiting from that in so many different ways. So it's important to protect that and use it wisely for the future. But then, how do we take care of a lake from home? There's so much information out there about what's environmentally friendly and what isn't, and I know that can be confusing. So I'm just going to start with the basics, and if you'd like to follow along, we have more programs and website resources that can take you to the next step. So if a lake and a dishwasher have anything in common, it's that they work better and they last longer if they have pre-rinse. There's less maintenance involved, they get less finicky over time, and they're just more predictable. You could also look at it in terms of human health or healthcare plan, and that consists of regular checks and active care. Say if you're noticing something like a mole that looks really funny or has a weird shape, that's a signal for getting it checked out and asking questions like, how does this connect to the rest of the body? Similar concept applies to the watershed in that these pieces are connected. So here's an example of something that would look a little off. The photo on the left is a stormwater outfall from here in the watershed. All of that sediment at the bottom of the tunnel is from surface level. That sediment that has extra nutrients in it, any kind of salt or automotive fluids, and kind of like a human diet, these are things that are out of balance. They should be kept back, kind of like holding back on sugar or carbs. Similarly, we have construction sites that might create erosion or cause some messy runoff like this. It might look innocent or like something that will just wash away and everyone moves on, but this is actually a red flag that will harm something downstream. Storm drains as well as ditches connect directly without any kind of treatment. Something like this will harm aquatic life, reduce the holding capacity for whatever's downstream, and also create more of a burden of maintenance and cleanup for city public works and public tax dollars. With practice, it gets easier. You can start to notice other materials or other places where there's probably illegal dumping happening. The photo on the left is water softener salt that was probably dumped for convenience, or maybe somebody just didn't know what to do with it and assumed it was just going to go into some kind of water treatment facility, but that's not the case. Again, this is an illegal dumping, and there are better responsible ways to dispose of salt or concrete mix or any kind of hazardous waste. And that even goes for pet waste. It might look natural, it looks innocent, and it breaks down, but pet waste is very dense in nutrients and bacteria. Again, like a diet, it's something that should be kept out of runoff and out of our water. Then we have our big no-nos: paint, cleaning solutions, something like carpet cleaning water. Again, I took both these photos. It was something sad to find. It could be easy to drive by and think nothing of it, but if you start to notice this kind of thing, you'll see that it can happen. Most of the storm drains in Gem Lake are printed with this stamp on the top: dump no waste, drains to waterway. It's something that takes a community effort to help raise awareness, spread the word, and create a habit just like good human health habits. So here's a summary. What stays out of storm drains and ditches? That includes our household chemicals, yard waste, and pet wastes. They seem natural, but that's debris that shouldn't be loose on the surface, and it creates an imbalance. Construction site sediment, laundry, car wash water. It's actually better to wash a car on the grass or just spot clean and take it to a commercial car wash because commercial car washes capture and send their wash water to a treatment plant. And that's totally separate from a storm drain system. Carpet cleaning, mop bucket, septic tank, discharge, and sanitary wastewater. Chlorinated pool water I'll mention in a moment, but please think twice and plan ahead of time for a responsible disposal. Again, like with human health, a bad habit over time is going to create more problems and a big bill later on. Then we start to talk about the healthy habits, things that we're striving for. For hazardous waste, this means checking into disposal options with something like the Ramsey County A to Z disposal guide, disposing of yard waste at a compost site or through a hauler curbside pickup system. Leaves can also be mulched or mowed over right into the lawn. That acts as free fertilizer and it keeps those nutrients on the landscape. And for anything that gets on the street, whether it's leaves or grass clippings, fertilizer, it's important to get that off the street, up over the curb, and onto the grass. We talked about pet waste. That really comes down to picking it up quickly. If you have a pool or a hot tub, that water should sit stagnant for 1 week before discharging it. It should be drained over a vegetated area like grass and be patient. Keep it low and slow to prevent all that water from picking up velocity and eroding soil away. Just like human health, if you care about a friend or family member, you're probably going to say something and recommend getting something checked out if there's something that looks a little off. And it's similar with the watershed. It's something that everyone has an impact on, for better or for worse. If you're in the city of Gem Lake, reports actually go to White Bear Township. Because of the partnership between the township and Gem Lake, the best way to do this is to have a photograph, document the location or cross streets. If you have a vehicle, license plate, or a description. If you're sending it through an email, you'll want to call it illicit discharge or illegal dumping in the subject. Reports can be anonymous, and it's something that you can be proud of. This is being proactive for our community and helping us take care of something we share. We've got more info like this on our website, glamo.org/residents. And speaking of our website, there's lots of ways to be in touch. Like I mentioned, it's a team effort, and we're all learning and growing in this process. You could check out our email newsletter or social media to stay up on our projects. We have a cost share program that offers funding to businesses and residents to help install water-friendly landscape practices, things like native plantings, rain gardens, rain barrels. The Vlamo website has news, projects, and interactive maps. And lastly, we have volunteer opportunities. If you're someone who likes to be involved on a community level, we've got lots of ways to be part of that team. That's all I've got for now. Thank you so much for watching. There's a couple of longer versions of this presentation on the City of Gem Lake website. I get into Gem Lake and the projects that have helped it out in the past, and more ways to help take care of a lake from afar. Thank you and take care.